All right, glad to be back playing football. Excited, obviously. First Big Ten matchup for us. Get the opportunity to travel to Rose Bowl, always an iconic place to play, and certainly a team that we're excited to go out there and play against so we can open it up.
Right here on the left, Eric.
Yeah, just starting with the bye week, why was it a success for your guys' operation?
Yeah, just ultimately we got better, right? You're looking for opportunities to get better, challenge your team, find areas for improvement, and I thought our guys did a good job of that.
Right on the right, Zach.
As a Chiefs fan, you're obviously familiar with Eric Bieniemy and his offense. Do you have a relationship with him at all? And what do you think from him and what he's done at UCLA so far this year?
Yeah, obviously a great offensive mind. I don't have a relationship other than I know who he is and then the job that he's done for a really long time. Obviously a really successful coordinator for a reason. Was a successful player too. So it's been fun to watch what he's done in his career.
Front left, James.
What have you seen from Ethan Garber so far in their limited sample, at least this season, in running that offense?
Yeah, I think he's very athletic. He's a guy that when he does scramble, he scrambles and looks to throw. I think that's something he's had some success in each of his games. I think he's getting more and more comfortable, but he throws a good ball. He's able to really attack his soft zone, really well, and is getting more and more comfortable in their system.
Right here on the right.
Surprise is the wrong word, but through three games, what's been something you've seen in this team that's been a pleasant surprise or excited you?
Just their willingness to work, right? Our guys come out here, work every single week. Sometimes like bye week can be a lull for teams. I thought our guys have attacked it with the proper approach of finding ways to continue to improve and get better. We talk about having a player-led team. I think that's really shown up for our guys over the last several weeks, and it certainly has shown up throughout the season so far.
On the left, Eric.
You talked a lot about wanting to play clean, especially offensively. What leads you to have confidence that this will be 2 in a row where you guys will accomplish that?
Well, it's really about the body of work we do this week in practice. So it's got to show up in practice for it to show up in the games. But I think what's been proven is when we do play clean, we play well. So that's something we have to challenge ourselves to do, especially when you go on the road. There can be a loss of focus. That's something we have to maintain throughout the game.
On the left, James.
There's some familiarity with both sides in terms of players. What value is there to either Dante's familiarity with them, at least in terms of personnel, if not some of their defensive scheme perhaps? And it's unusual to have an opponent with 5 former players, but BA obviously was here and knows a little bit defensive signals. What have you done to adapt and adjust to that familiarity?
It's been a while since either one of those guys were with, and there's new coaching staffs and some changes on both sides. So certainly there's some advantages. On the same note, I think there's a lot that's different. You look at both these teams. Both of us are called game plan teams. We play different based on the opponent that we're playing each week. So you'll see some different wrinkles probably from their side as well as our side. So I don't know how much that'll carry over.
On the right, Zach.
Stressed special teams a lot since getting here in 2021. Is there something different about this team that you think has led to so much success in that area this year?
No, I mean, I think they take a lot of pride in it. I think the execution has been a lot better. And, there were times in previous years where we're really close to having a big play and maybe we don't create it because we're one block away or one play away. I'll say this, whatever guys step on the field, all 11 of those guys have a clear focus on accomplishing their job for their team.
Back left, Brett.
UCLA has had some struggles in the first couple of weeks, both offensively and defensively. What have you seen on film to where you can take advantage of them in this weekend's matchup?
I don't know if I'll speak to that more than just speaking to a team that I think has been resilient. Is going into halftime, a tie game with LSU. They've been able to play in some tight battles and showing an ability to play with any team that they line up against. So certainly they've had areas where they can grow, and so have we. So I see it as a great challenge. A team that has some talent on their roster, some guys that play really well that we have to be aware of and ready to adapt to.
Eric on left.
New leadership on their defense, too. I'm curious on what they look like on film and kind of some things to talk about there, I guess.
Yeah, they do a good job of changing it up. The front moves a lot. A lot of a stem operation where they do a lot of different things with their defensive line. They line up in multiple fronts, so it can be 3 down, 4 down. Do a good job disguising zone and making it look like man. So they'll pitch a lot of different things at you, and it's at times can be hard to calm them down and figure out exactly what they're in. So we'll have to be really aware of what they are in, and then on the same note, have good answers for whatever that might be.
Front left, James.
What's made Kane Medrano more disruptive for them so far this season?
When he pulls the trigger, he ends up, in the backfield quickly. He's got good stop and go. He's a knockback tackler, so he's able to get guys on the ground. But he shows up in special teams. It's kind of like the kind of guy when he plays with his hair on fire, when he's on the field.
Back middle, Matt.
You often talk about controlling the things that you can control. 8 p.m. kickoff, it's out of your hands, but what do you do to go through that long lull of a wait for a game that's pretty unusual?
What an opportunity. That means more time for us to prepare, more time for us to get ready. We're excited about the challenge and what that provides.
Middle left, Eric.
You talked about the value of Matt having this time and obviously the next week. How is he? I guess you're kind of in the middle of that. How is he in that process right now?
Yeah, he actually got dinged the other day in practice. So, just trying to be aware of where he's at. If he's, able to, help us this week, we will. But always we'll put our players first and see, where they're at in that process.
Front left, James.
I wanted to get an update also on Jaleel Florence and just his process coming back, and at what point, if at all, does the possibility of a red shirt, given that it could be 4 games plus the postseason, when does that conversation begin?
Yeah, whenever it needs to happen. At this point, it doesn't need to happen. You get 4 games to play. Once Jaleel's ready, we'll be able to utilize him. But right now, he's not at that point yet.
Back to James.
A lot of attention nationally this past weekend, and where even Dylan got involved in terms of the conversation of how teams and programs and coaches go about team building, program building around the quarterback position, the value of quarterback experience versus youth in the development process. Can you explain a little bit of your philosophy so far of, yes, you brought in transfers that one with 2 years, one with 1, one with 3, but also developing young guys and being able to make that work insofar as how you've done it so far and navigated that process so far?
Yeah, I just think that's part of the culture of our team. We talk about connections, a big piece of our team. Obviously, we want to be guys, a team that develops guys within our roster. I think you'll see a lot of guys playing for us on Saturday that have grown up in this program. But we always want to be competitive and make sure we have the best advantage when we step out there on the field on Saturday. So continue to find guys that can make our program better. And luckily, there's a lot of different roads to get here, but there's a lot of people that can make our team better, throughout that process.
That's all we have for you, Coach. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.